Hello SCL4001 friends. I wanted to give you a look at week one, what to expect, what's coming up, and the things that you should be focusing on. As in most of your classes, week one will include an introductory discussion. Of course, I understand that each of you knows each other pretty well by now. So this isn't a hi, my name is to introduce yourself to your classmates. You might need to do that a little bit so I can get to know you, but the purpose of the week one discussion in this class is for you to share a few experiences that you've had relating to culture. So one of the questions is talking about a time where you bumped up against culture. So I look forward to reading those, and then I look forward to the discussion that comes from those. Like many of the discussions that you've had in your classes, for the introductory discussion, it's going to be an initial post for each of you, and then by Sunday at midnight, replying to at least two of your classmates' posts. There's reading for this week. It's a PDF that's in Canvas. It's the first two chapters from a textbook by sort of the expert in organizational culture and organizational leadership. It's a man with the last name of Sheen. So his two first chapters. The typical reading for this class is not going to be so heavy or so academic, but I wanted to get the class, sort of the foundation of the class, rooted in academic reading and thought. And so that's what the reading in the Sheen, those two chapters are about. So you'll do the reading, and then there is an assignment that sort of goes along with that. There is also week one, weekly facilitated discussion. Probably before you jump into the discussion, what you'll want to do is go into the weekly, I think it's called facilitated discussion chart, but that's a thing that's under the week one module where each of you need to go in and pick a week and a topic in that week where you'll be the weekly facilitator for that discussion. So each of you will just need to pick 1 week and one topic in that week, and that'll be starting week 2, and we won't have it week 6 because week 6 is our presentation week. But click into the chart and you can pick your week there. After that, I would encourage you to go into the weekly facilitated discussion for week 1. I am modeling what that should look like in week 1. So I've posted 2 threads in the weekly facilitated discussion area for week 1. And you'll need to pick one of them, read through it, watch the video that I've posted, and then you'll need to make a video where you respond to the questions that I ask. Then what I'll do is, after everyone's done that, I'll go through, watch everyone's videos, and then make a summary and a follow-up video where I'll push the conversation further. And then it's your job, Sunday by midnight, to go back in, to look at my summary videos, and to look at some of the videos from your classmates, and then have you push the conversation forward by doing at least 2 more replies. So the weekly facilitated discussion is my way to try to make the discussions a little bit more engaging. It's a way, hopefully, to strengthen the sense of community by being able to see your classmates and hear your classmates. I know that seeing yourself on video it's usually on the bottom of people's favorite things list, and I apologize for that. But I think that while you might not enjoy seeing yourself on video, I know that I and your classmates will appreciate it, and it helps strengthen and build that sense of community here in the class. There is also, for this week, a few videos. It's just in one assignment, but there is a TED Talk by a man named Rick Steves where he talks about the value of travel. And then down the page a little bit, there are 4 pretty short, basically they're commercials. There's 4 of them. And I'd like you to watch all those videos, and then I have some discussion questions that I'd like you to respond to. I really like Rick Steves' The Value of Travel video. He sort of course, even in the title, he packages his talk, and he himself, he's a tour guide, well-known tour guide who has had a a travel show on PBS for something like 30 or 35 years. As a kid at my grandparents' house in the middle of nowhere in South Dakota, we would sit and watch him as he traveled in Italy and France and Germany. So he's well known as the tour guide and a host of this travel show. So he presents his speech or his talk, the value of travel. But what I like about the talk is that he kind of pushes it way beyond value of travel. And he really introduces some pretty radical ideas that might make some traditionalists in this country a little uncomfortable. He asks us to examine, for example, our view of people from other countries, to maybe even question our view of ourselves as Americans in the bigger context of the world, excuse me, right? He has one line where he says, in America we have the American dream, but in other countries they would have the Egyptian dream, the Sri Lankan dream, the German dream. And the American dream, it's pretty good, but it isn't necessarily higher than any of those other places. That's just one example of sort of the ideas that he asks us to engage in. So I really like that. I also really like the 4 short commercial videos, and I think students typically have responded very well to those. They're well put together. For example, one of them's for Coca-Cola. So it's just an advertisement, but there's a message behind it. Some might argue that message is just there to sell Coca-Cola. That could be true. But I do think that there is a point and there's a lesson that we can learn or at least have a discussion around. And so those videos are part of your weekly assignment for this week. And then, finally, at the end of every week in this class, there is an end of week reflection that I want you to write. Reflection is one of the most important parts of the actual learning process. We can fill our brains with information, but it takes reflecting and allowing that information to settle and to make connections with our real life, with other information. That's what real learning is about. And so at the end of each week, I ask you to write a simple reflection about what we covered and what you're taking away from this week. It's a small assignment. I don't typically take any points off. I give you credit if you do it, but that's an opportunity for learning, for reflection and learning to take place. So I look forward to reading those each week. That pretty much covers week 1. It's an introductory week. You'll get the flow and the sense of the workload in the class. Don't be too scared away by the reading in week 1. Like I said, it's pretty academic, it's pretty heavy, but this is the only week where we do that type of reading. Starting in week 2, we move on to the textbook, Leading with Cultural Intelligence. That's a much easier read, and I would say it's almost enjoyable reading. There's stuff that you can take and apply to life and some interesting stories. It's not an academic textbook whatsoever. So starting in week 2, we'll do that. Please take a look through Canvas, click around. Let me know if you have any questions about week 1. I'm here to help. I'm excited for what the week has to offer, and I will check in with you all later. Take care. Bye-bye.